following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And we are on the air. We're inside the SWBC Mortgage Studios here at One Cowboys Way at the Star in Frisco. We're inside Ford Center at that. Bill Jones with Everson Walls, Dani Surek, and Mickey Spagnola. Yes, the star of our show
is here.
This is Mick Shots.
Ooh.
He heard the show last week and was like, I got to get back in there.
You guys have fun last week?
We were dumping on y'all the whole show. Yeah.
I know.
Let's make sure we get your microphone
half
up.
the first segment
nice.
was just us dumping on you, man. That was what it was all about.
That's what happens when you have to make a flight reservation in the middle of March and not knowing what was going to happen in May. And I was counting on, not going to let us do anything. We're not going to be able to go watch anything. I'm getting out of here.
So you were Mr. Pessimistic.
I was at that time.
He was.
At that time.
Yeah.
Dr. Fauci decided you could be out there.
That's right.
And
Fauci.
You know, doesn't it look like Mickey's glowing right now?
It does.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what you
He's
call
Got
That's
to
what-
watch them.
That's what you call old man sweat. That's old man sweat. Yeah.
Oh, man, sweat. And to pull back the curtain here, summer has hit all of a sudden.
Yes, it
Here in
has.
Frisco, Texas.
All
It
at
is.
once.
It's Florida muggy out there.
my God.
Oh,
Last
Lord.
night was horrible. Last night was horrible. You can just even with the windows closed, you can feel it. The
No, you had to
mugginess
turn your air
gets in the
conditioning
house.
on.
It's still that doesn't help.
It was
Oh, but
seriously
and
muggy.
so because Mickey is glowing right now, he's got so much to talk about what he just saw on the practice field, and Dani does as well.
Yeah, but I'm not glistening. How about that? As much as Mickey is.
She
I was
a little
inside.
smarter than I was.
You were inside watching.
I
huh?
was inside watching in the air conditioning.
I was working on my Camp Tan.
You look
All
good
right.
though, man. I like the it happened fast.
Nice shirt, too.
Yeah,
huh?
it had to, thank you, sir. We're dressed
that's
just
cute.
alike. I know. It's my favorite. I was really dressing for Cliff, but it didn't.
Well, we can't wait to hear what happened on the practice field. This, of course, is day one of the mandatory minicamp for 2021. And they were out on the practice field. I was able to watch from a distance. I had to get here late because I continue to have plumbing issues at home.
Oh, dude, you're killing me, man.
And I'll relate it to football, okay? As I told my wife, you're like a coach of a football team. Okay, you had the rookie quarterback in there. He threw 4 interceptions. Now you got to get a veteran in there. And so we got the veteran plumber coming tomorrow to fix that. That's enough about that. All right, Mickey, what did you see out there on the field?
I saw
Veteran plumber.
I saw who was participating, who wasn't. Basically, gosh, who wasn't participating but could run.
Mm-hmm.
I saw George Teague out there.
Did you?
Yeah.
He's not playing, is he?
No. I think they filled up their safety quota.
They aren't that. Not to say George Teague would be desperate, but at what age George Teague is at?
My question to somebody when I didn't recognize who that was out there. I said, "Who is that?" And they said, "Oh, it's George Teague. He's watching practice. His beard's white as Everson's
Wow, he's got a beard.
hair.
Oh, his
beard is turned
his
white.
beard is white.
Yeah.
And does he have full?
No, it's crop.
Oh, okay.
Close.
I was going to say.
Look
man.
good. Look good.
Yeah, a little
But-
chin piece going. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
I got you.
So I think the probably good news is even though that Tyron Smith, Lale Collins, and Zach Martin aren't participating in practice, they're doing their rehab. I saw them running, and they're running full speed. So they look like they're fine. They're just being very cautious with those guys, and they'll be ready to start training camp. As a matter of fact, the 3 of them, they were tethered to these kind of metal sleds, and they were running and pulling them on the grass, and they were able to do that. So I think that bodes well that those guys are just fine.
That's the reindeer drill.
The reindeer drill?
They're pulling the sled like a reindeer.
Oh, very good. I bet that's not what they call it.
No, I don't know what the hell Bill's talking about. Let's go with the
Reindeer
drill. That's a good one.
There are these little things about this big. The other guys running awfully well, DeMarcus Lawrence and Tristan Hill, full speed sprinting, so they didn't practice, but and they haven't practiced yet, but we won't see them until we get to training camp. So I thought that was good.
I know it was part hype, but I think I read something about last week that our 3 linemen are feeling better than they've ever felt in quite some time during this part of the offseason.
Yes, absolutely. And Tyron basically said this is the best he's felt for a while.
That's the one I was paying attention to.
And he feels like what they did with his neck kind of took care of some of the things he was having with his back.
Yeah.
Because the neck's connected to the
Is
back.
it?
Mm-hmm. What's that little rhyme? The neck bones.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thanks.
But yeah, and so those guys, they're good to go. They're just being very cautious with those.
Okay.
Dak did everything other than when they go 11 on 11 with a pass rush, and he seems to be throwing the ball just fine. The guys that of significance that weren't out there, Donovan Wilson and Cedric Wilson, both were there watching. Amari Cooper there watching. Amari's coming back from that off-season surgery. Donovan Wilson and Cedric Wilson both have a little something going on that from OTAs, so they just basically said we don't need to win the season opener in June. So they let those guys kind of hang back. Kelvin Joseph was back here. He missed last week. Mike McCarthy said he had to do a 10-day quarantine, so he must have had contact with somebody that tested positive.
I thought maybe he was working on another album.
Get another rap going on. Yeah, I heard it was excused, so that was good news. And then they had some other wide receivers that last week I think they were having allergy problems, and I think they continue to do that this week, including Simi Fehoko. But after that, I think everybody else was basically out there, other than the guys doing rehab, and then Hunter, the punter, Nicewander, his wife's having a complicated pregnancy, and so he's been excused to not be here. I haven't really seen, like Zerline, I hadn't seen him here kicking or anything. Maybe he kicks on his own. They don't do any field goals or anything in any of these drills. But other than that, the gang was all here. So it was kind of a toned down practice, a lot of technique, right, Dani?
Yeah, and a lot of the points I had, you touched on it. It didn't feel maybe as exciting. Maybe that's because we've seen them practice a little more with OTAs, but it nothing really, I guess, stood out in a way that like surprised me, good or bad. I will say, like, little things I noted. In OTAs, I never saw Jalen Smith do the sled drills, and I saw him do some of that today, which makes me think he's recovering in that wrist surgery, recovering there. I noted the same thing about the 3 offensive linemen, given we only see so much as the media, but it felt like we saw them for the longest amount that we have seen them out there working, doing a little more strength and conditioning. I said Dak looked good. You couldn't, again, tell ankle issues. Dropbacks were good. Passes were quick. Nahshon Wright has consistently had good coverage in the drills. You agree with me there?
Yes, absolutely.
He had one play where he kind of got burned by Noah Brown today, but he has consistently throughout OTAs, throughout practice day, he's looked really good, I thought.
He's around the football.
Yeah.
Even though these are non-contact thing, although there was a significant contact thing that took place. 3 guys kind of collided, and
It's bound to happen.
I believe it was McKeon. Kind of, It looked like he got somewhat dinged. It's a bad word to use these days, right? Because that's what's
dinged could have you out for
40
2
years
weeks.
ago.
Yeah.
Oh, you got dinged, right? And maybe the best thing I saw is Randy Gregory was out there, and he looks faster than ever coming off the line of scrimmage. He looks like he's gotten a little bigger, like maybe a little more strength, and he he blew off the line of scrimmage on one play, and the quarterback would have been just annihilated. I don't even think he got touched. I believe he's going to do one of the WebEx interviews this afternoon, so it'll be good to hear from him. And he was having fun. So I think that's a really good sign to see him coming off one side, eventually DeMarcus Lawrence on the other side. And at one point when I don't know what kind of alignment they were in, but they lined up Micah Parsons at the right defensive end spot, and it looked like he was shot out of a cannon. He would have it would have been the same thing. He would have annihilated the quarterback because nobody could touch him. He got off so fast. So those were some of the things.
That's interesting. That's the best thing I've heard you say. Yeah.
And he got quite a few snaps out there. He was playing, I think, Dani, more of the young guy. A lot of the young guys were getting more kind of upgraded snaps, maybe almost first team. But they mix and match, and then at the end, they called it team tempo. And I'm going, okay, what does team tempo mean? Well, it was basically team walkthrough. Tempo meant we slowed it down.
That's no tempo.
Yeah, there was no tempo whatsoever. So anyway, that's kind of what took place. And McCarthy kind of warned us. He said this will be very similar to what we did in OTAs. Yeah. The only difference is we can meet with them longer. And then the last period was basically a meeting on the field. The offense was here, the defense was there, and they were just doing skeleton-type plays and formations. So,
for Wright to be making all of these plays and for them to be so noticeable, I can understand that it's just this time of the year. You're not going to be winning anything in June. I get that. But, that's a talent. To be around, to know where the receiver's going, to sniff out the direction of the offensive patterns. Mm-hmm. That's a talent. To know where they're going, to decipher it and make that play. Of course, it's just off season, but to be in position to do that all the time and for it to be that noticeable every practice from not just you, but from you as well.
Yeah.
I think that's something that you can kind of build on because, if you know it, you know it. You can't unknow it. You can't go out there and dumb it down if you know it. And for him to kind of decipher things that well, that kind of gives me a little promise.
And, last Friday for my column, I wrote about the cornerback position and basically said, there seemed to be this, like everybody was just assumption that Trayvon Diggs starts at one and Kelvin Joseph starts at the other. And my point was not so fast because Anthony Brown might have something to say about it, right?
The veteran.
Yeah,
yes.
He's been out there working with the first team with Diggs on the other side. And then my point was I know Kelvin Joseph, and we'll see what happens there, but don't go to sleep on Nashawn Wright. Mm-hmm. And I think we talked about it on the Blitz on Sunday night.
Okay, so that's my question about Kelvin Joseph. How important is this time of the year for a rookie coming in here, and he's missed the 10 days that he would have been out here basically on the field doing – I mean, they had 4 OTAs last week.
Three.
Right?
3.
Okay.
So he missed last week.
Right.
And that was another point in my column.
Yeah, because you had Memorial Day weekend the previous week, so that counts.
And I found out that it was
4
excused.
days there, and that takes you through
Not
Monday,
here.
then 4 days. That gets you to 8 days on Friday,
Right.
and then Sunday was his 10th day. Then.
But at least he had the rookie minicamp, which no one had last year, and he had the first week of OTAs.
So he missed a week of OTAs, basically.
Yes. And, he looks like he has the physical ability to play. And I remembered what you said. What about his hips? Can he turn? And he seems to be able to do that. Now we'll see what he can do in coverage. But I think between, the 4 of them, they just might have something going there once get to training camp and actually see some football.
When you think about somebody like Brown, I was never a big fan of his. I just know that he's quick. He's extremely athletic. But I just don't think he has the instinct of a cornerback. That grows as he gets older and hopefully has more experience. Plus, if you start changing the culture around here, then the tip balls, the bad passes, things of that nature, he can take advantage of that. But he has to be shown that. it's once you see others do it, then it's just almost like you have to fall in line. And I'm hoping that these young kids can show some of these older DBs on this team just how you're supposed to go after the ball.
So
like
I was
Noshawn Wright. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Noshawn.
Just being able to.
But Trayvon's got that. Trayvon's got that.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Of course he's one of the younger guys. The way I look at
Right.
it. But when you got the older guys out there who not used to making plays, and even though Brown's not that old, he's not used to making plays on the ball. They need to be shown an example, and that's the way we always did. We came in '81. I wasn't the only one trying to get interceptions. Michael Downs out there picking stuff off.
Right.
Dennis Thurman's out there picking. He had 9 picks in 1981. So it has
Thurman's Thieves.
Thurman. That's why they call it Thurman's Thieves.
But that didn't occur till '85.
Well, we had already led the league like 3 or 4 times as
Right.
a team.
So
it's a culture that was created.
So Brown did have a nice breakup when they were in 7-on-7, I think. But I was going to ask you last week. I wasn't here. So looking at these rookies, and you may be the worst one to ask since you had 11 interceptions as a rookie. What was the
13
hardest?
if you count the playoffs.
Playoffs.
And
thank you.
another 2
Yeah.
in the Pro Bowl. But
Okay.
who's counting?
Yeah. and that was back when the Pro Bowl wasn't just
Right, it was a real
brother-in-law,
Pro Bowl.
right? They
Yeah, I
actually
got
played.
Chuck Muncie knocked me out in that Pro Bowl.
So what
But
was
go ahead.
what was the toughest part, the transition from college to the NFL for a cornerback?
I think mainly with me that it was a little unique was the flex defense itself. I was, we at Grambling, we didn't even play nickel defense. We didn't play nickel or dime. You just go out there and man up.
That was I got you.
That's it. I'm shutting this brother down.
Basically
that's
what you
all
did
it was.
in your backyard.
Now all of a sudden, we always had the zones because, you learned that from high school. You always had the zone play, which was easy. But now you got a flex zone, which I don't know if you knew it, but it's a horrible defense for a defensive back. We were the sacrificial lambs. It's made to play against the run. So it was made to defend. You remember the quarterback pass? There was a pass pattern that was called a quarterback pass, and that's when they just had standard personnel, two backs, one tight end, 2 wide receivers. Well, the tight end would do a drag across on the play action pass. Here comes the wide receiver or the wing back. He's going inside as well. The weak side, Michael Gallup, he's going deep post. That's the quarterback pass. Everybody ran it. They did it for 30, 40 years. So that's what we had to learn. That defense was made by Tom Landry to stop Jim Brown, but also to stop the pass that comes off of that play action. They don't do that anymore, but we had to read the flow of the backs. And you go from zone to man, but depending on the flow of the backs. Now you tell me what defense can read that? What rookie can read that? I have to read the backside flow from zone that could take me to a man-to-man. I mean, like, I got help now. I'm help before the ball snapped. All of a sudden, they go flow strong to the tight end. Now I'm man-to-man by myself. Nowhere to be found is any help. That was the difficult part of coming in as a rookie because our system was so unique under Tom Landry. Other than just the regular man-on-man and challenges that you had to have, it was just all about trying to get through the numbers. It was 25 rookie DBs. So
and I think last year,
that.
even with Diggs, I think we saw there were times he didn't read it right. There were times I don't know if he was in the right coverage, and there were times he got caught looking inside.
Well, the main thing you always have is being a little bit too aggressive because the pros play on that. In college, they don't have so many plays. The pros can game plan you. So, of course, if you're a rookie out there, they're going to play for your rookie tendencies. They're going to want you to jump. If you're a safety, they're going to want you to jump that in cut, but then that post is going to be right behind you. So things like that to where they set you up to where you think you recognize something, but it's all a ruse.
And if you look at Kelvin Joseph, he hasn't played that much football. He started 9 games at Kentucky, right? He played 11 at LSU, but he didn't do any starting. And judging from his stats, it didn't look like he got a heck of a lot of snaps either. So you don't have a lot of experience out there. Now, you might have some talent, and it'll be interesting to watch him when we get to training camp. But that assumption of, oh, he's a walk-in starter, if I read that one more time, it's like, watch what's going on out there.
Coaches, offensive coordinators love rookie DBs for the other team. They just look forward to it. I'm a victim. I can tell you they set you up in all kinds of ways to where it takes away from your aggressiveness. And if you're not careful, then they will change the way that you play. I tried my best not to let them change the way that I played. It may have something to do with some of the plays that I gave up my rookie year. But you have to give those up as a rookie because I'm going to get mine. You have to get yours. To me, that's what makes the difference. Either you're going to sit back and not make plays and be solid or conservative, or you're going to be aggressive and continue being aggressive.
Because you're going to get beat.
You're going to get
There's
beat.
a reason why these quarterbacks are throwing for 4,000, 5,000.
That's the thing.
But you got to make some plays.
You got to make some plays.
So my other point on, the season opener, so you want a guy that's only really played 9 full college games, first game to go out there and, oh, that's Tom Brady. Right. And, oh, that's Evans. Yeah. Oh, they got some wide receivers.
Yeah.
This might be a problem.
He's just as fast as I am.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch. And, Bill, as we talked about, and we can probably all kick this around, when we get to training camp, there's going to be a lot of competition on that defense to kind of figure out who's playing and who's not, or who's rotating.
And that's including linebackers.
Yeah, and the defensive tackles.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of Mick Shots.
And it was a great start.
It was. You're still glowing, and I can tell there's still more inside that glowing head of yours. And we continue with more Mick Shots in just a moment.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Hey, Cowboy fans, if you're thinking about attending a game this season, visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today. Stay at the team hotel, have dinner with a Cowboys legend, and experience the best sports venue in the world, AT&T Stadium. Also, tour the Star, get autographs from your favorite players, and talk X's and O's with me, Mickey Spagnola. The official travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys will take care of all your travel needs. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your package today.
Hey Cowboys fans, there's a lot to get excited about for the upcoming season, but nothing more so than having a packed AT&T Stadium to cheer on the Cowboys every Sunday afternoon. At SeatGeek, we've been using this time to make discovering, buying, and selling tickets to events in Dallas easier, like football games, country shows, rodeos, pro wrestling, and everything in between. Download the SeatGeek app today and let there be live. SeatGeek.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. When there's work to be done, a real workhorse can make all the difference. Like the Range Boss package. Our 5075E John Deere 75 horsepower tractor features a bell spear and loader and starts at $369 per month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay. No surprises. It works like a horse, so you don't have to.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now, let's get to work.
Back to Mick Shots.
Dallas Cowboys football and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders dance youth camps are back this summer for athletes and dancers of all skill levels. 2- and 3-day camps are available with new dates added at AT&T Stadium and the Star in Frisco. Spots are limited. Register today at dallascowboys.com/academy. I think that includes you, Mickey, all skill levels.
Let's go.
And where again are those camps?
AT&T Stadium and the Star in Frisco.
And I'm thinking they are not in the parking lot at AT&T Stadium, and it's probably not on Tostitos Championship Plaza, meaning they are indoors. That's the key. That's the best place to have a camp this time of the year. As Mickey and Dani can both attest after watching the Cowboys on the practice
Wait
field
till
today.
tomorrow because it's going to be even
hotter. It's going to be. Summer's here, guys.
Heat's going to go up, and
nowhere.
so will the humidity. And before we go, we should pay our respects to Jim Fossil. John Fossil's dad passed away yesterday, and so he was excused. Obviously, he's going to miss this week. Evidently, he had a heart attack.
Yeah, it was reported as a heart attack.
So he got there the year.
He was there
your,
in 91.
your second year
He
with
was
the Giants.
Parcells hired him as a quarterback's coach in '91,
And Parcells hired him and then retired.
He had the angioplasty.
Yeah,
and he had to retire briefly.
Because I saw somebody mention that, and I'm going, well, how did Parcells? He retired, but he had hired.
Well,
him.
he stuck around. He was the OC in '92.
Yeah,
Fossil was.
Right.
So
right.
after Parcells retired.
Right, but '91 too. He
was quarterback's coach.
But anyway, John. That's a tough one.
And in fact,
Dad was only 71 years old.
Wow.
71 years old. Yep. Yeah. And John Fossil issued a statement that was, I saw L.A. Times posted this. It's with a very heavy heart to announce that we lost our dad yesterday. Mm-hmm. Thank you for all your thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. While our dad will be remembered as a longtime fan and face of the football world, his legacy will live forever in our hearts as the greatest dad and grandpa of all time. He leaves behind his wife, Kitty, their 5 kids and spouses, as well as 16 happy and healthy grandkids.
Wow.
We love you, Dad.
Wow.
That's a lot. Yeah. So since and another note, since today's June 8th, this is recognized as D-Day 2. And 77 years ago, my dad landed on Omaha Beach. D-Day 2.
That's walking history right there, Spag.
He would tell the story, and here's how smart our Army was. They were on a big ship to transport them into Normandy, and to get from the ship to the landing crafts, they had to come down these rope ladders, right? And my dad said, yeah, and he goes, for some reason they didn't figure out that the two boats aren't moving in the water at the same time, right? The same directions.
Okay.
So you're swinging. And on top of it, during their boot camp or whatever they had, they didn't teach them how to swim. Mm. And my dad couldn't swim. Mm. And he got dropped off,
And they were all short of the beach line.
Yeah.
So a lot
you
of
had
them,
to take your
some
pack.
drowned.
Yeah.
With
before they got
all
there.
their gear on.
And I saw he did an interview later in age, local newspaper honoring people that landed on Normandy, and he had never said this. Never. I asked him, what was the first thing you realized when you got in the water? He goes, the guy next to me got shot. And I'm going, every time I think about it, I'm still the miracle baby that not only did he survive that, but also as a prisoner of war. So, yeah. But anyway, D-Day 2 today.
So, wait. He was a POW?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
For 4 months.
Boy, you are lucky to be here.
Oh, I know. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
See, that's where I get my toughness.
Got to be from him. Boy, he was tough.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned people don't talk about D-Day 2. June 6th is D-Day, but D-Day 2 days later.
And so, when they showed up, them bodies were on the beach.
Yes,
that was your first, first thing you saw of a war, because there wasn't anybody to kind of clean things up.
No, especially not in one day. I mean, it takes.
So here they are trying to get through all that water, and everybody's yelling at them, "Keep your guns dry!" And it's like, well, why didn't you get me closer to the beach?
My goodness, how is America still here?
Oh,
man, how
it's amazing.
Is it still here?
It's amazing.
Well, I don't know how we segue from that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll throw out the phone number, 888-855-2297 if you'd like to talk football here.
Or D-Day 2. Hey.
Another guy that had a nice day today, Johnny Dixon. the free agent wide receiver.
Just signed a couple
Ohio
weeks ago.
State.
A week ago from Ohio State. He was wearing, we got two people wearing 6, right? White uniform, blue uniform. Donovan Wilson, by the way, and Cedric Wilson were not practicing.
You said that.
I did, okay.
Yeah.
So
But
anyway.
Donovan Wilson wears number 6 now, so that's why you mentioned that. Yeah.
So anyway, this guy, his last year at Ohio State, he was pretty darn good. He didn't get drafted. He knocked around practice squads.
Why do you think he didn't get drafted?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, I'll go back and look in my big green notebook.
See if you got it right. I think it was 2015. I think it was the 2015.
Okay.
I mean, if you're talking
draft.
Ohio State, you're talking Big Ten, then he's going to get a look at. They're going to look at him.
He got to go to the combine. And I don't
you
know
get
if
the
there was
benefit of the doubt.
If there was an injury in there, an ACL or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, he was one of those guys that could take the top off the route, and he did a nice job today.
I did, and he looked strong. He looked like he was agile. Like I thought he moved well, and that's kind of the first time in the, I guess, how many practices have we seen? 3 or 4, where it's like, oh, who's 6 again?
Number
Constantly
6,
looking, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and when you have guys missing, that's your opportunity, right? There's no Amari Cooper out there. There's no Cedric Wilson out there. There was a couple other of the wide receivers that are rookie free agents that were out there. Simi Fihoko wasn't out there. So he got an opportunity today, and I think he took advantage of it.
Well, when you think about it, I was a free agent, so I had a few choices, 3 choices, I think, in New Orleans and Buffalo and Dallas. And Cowboys needed DBs. That's why they signed so many of us as rookies. But if I'm what's the young man's name?
Johnny Dixon.
Johnny Dixon.
If I'm Johnny Dixon and I'm a free agent, why would I come here as a wide receiver?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good question.
I mean, I'm just asking. Why would I come here?
Same for a running back.
Yeah, exactly. You got Pollard. You got, of course, Zeke. Why would I
Well,
come here?
he doesn't come here with the idea that he's obviously going to beat out Michael Gallup or Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb, but there are opportunities as far as the reserves go. I mean, especially when you look at the contract situation with Noah Brown. Okay, he's on a 1-year deal and he's free agent. I mean, so he's in a contract year. Cedric Wilson's in a contract year. You drafted one in the 5th round, Fihoko, and so there are opportunities. And then even as far as starters go, Gallup's in his contract year himself. So I think for someone like Johnny Dixon, this is an opportunity. And I don't know, I'll have to look it up. He may have a prior, because he's tried out with other teams. He may have a relationship with a coach on the staff, maybe even Adam Henry. Maybe he tried out there before. And there could be a practice squad opportunity, and just to get his foot in the door and get legs with an organization, maybe, because
and why not start with the Cowboys?
So you got a revolving door as far as the backups go. So, and especially when you consider what Cedric Wilson do to make this year. I mean, it was a restricted free agent, so $2 point something million, and Noah Brown is a veteran now,
right?
And so if you get someone at a
little younger,
you're always trying to save some money.
Every $1 million counts.
Now we found that out.
Yep.
Go ask Atlanta right now. After signing Julio Jones, in 2019 to a 3-year, $66 million extension, right? So,
which is why they had to wait until after June 1st in trading,
exactly,
which is what we talked about last week.
And they put $7.75 million of dead money in the cap this year, and next year it's $15.5 million in dead money.
So why not keep him?
They needed to sign their draft picks this year.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally did not have enough money to sign their draft class.
He was going to count $23 million.
So get rid of Matty. Get rid of Matty Ice then.
He was going to count
See,
$23
nobody thinks
million.
about getting rid of the quarterback.
I know.
Nobody ever thinks about getting rid of the quarterback.
There we go. They had an opportunity to draft the last 2 guys.
Right?
Yeah.
Who would throw the ball to Jones?
He got the draft pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could throw the ball. Let him throw it.
That's what happens when you decide, the money is more. And he had injuries last year, but it was only the first year he really had injuries.
And he still was playing his butt off with that injury.
He's 31, 32, right?
32.
32.
Yep.
So
I'm sure the age.
That's just
is a
another
factor, you know?
example of when you sign these contracts, they're yours, you know, and you're going to pay dearly to get rid of them.
And that was the key on the trade. Was Tennessee was the only. There were other teams that were interested, but they didn't want to pay his total salary, and so Tennessee was the only one that cut him a deal that said, "Okay, we'll take on his salary."
And his
to
salary,
me, I would not go to me, Tennessee wouldn't be the place I'd go.
Well, you got to go where he probably didn't have.
But everyone's talking about the weapons that Tennessee has.
They have enough tennis. They have enough weapons at Tennessee.
No, but they lost the tight end Jonnu Smith, signed with the Patriots, and then their first round Corey Davis, their wide receiver, went to the Jets.
Okay.
So now they've got Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. And then, of course, they've got Derrick Henry in the backfield.
Yeah, the tight end.
The tight end is
they signed.
They got Anthony Ferkser, who had 39 catches last year, and Jeff Swaim, and then they've got a bunch of street guys otherwise.
Yeah, I thought they picked somebody else up.
And
maybe I'm wrong.
Street guys.
But anyway, his
street free agents.
Where does he get these?
That's what we used to call them, street guys. You're out on the street. You know?
There you go.
That's right.
You go. I thought it was the old Gil Brandt. You can find the defensive back or wide receiver on any street corner. I thought that's
right.
Getting
in a taxi, in the taxi squatters.
His base salary. His base salary for this year was guaranteed $15.5 million. So Tennessee had to be able to absorb that to make that move. The Cowboys couldn't do that. They may have to make a move to get everybody else signed by the time they go to training camp.
Oh, really? So what move might they make?
I'm restructure.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
You're not talking about a trade.
So how many rookies have been signed?
Most of the class.
Did the third rounders get signed?
I didn't think the third rounders.
The fourth rounders and back all got signed.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I think that's
the
right.
third day guys got signed.
For some reason, the third round
easy.
guys are
That's the easy.
The third round guys are difficult.
They don't impact the cap as much.
Yeah.
You know?
Because those three guys their salaries will make them top 51 right now. And those are the only things that count against the cap right now, the top 51 salaries. And I think the cutoff was like 830,000, something like that. So they would probably end up counting more because of their signing bonuses.
All right, Dani, in the break you were talking about the cornerbacks, and I want to give you an opportunity to say what you were saying to the rest of the masses out there.
Well, I was just thinking, watching practice, it's early to tell, and Nahshon Wright or Kelvin Joseph or, what those young guys will bring to the table, but they seem to be trending upwards. You can get a glimpse as to the potential that this scouting department, the coaching staff, front office saw in these young players. And assuming that it continues trending upwards, they have a good training camp, you will feel better about the depth. Because last year, Chidobe Awuzie, you felt like there was a really big drop-off between the talent and the trust you have between him or maybe who might step in and replace him. And the Cowboys lost him to free agency. So now when you have these young players and you've seen what they can do so far and how they're trending, you feel better about if you have to go between two or three guys and your depth is a little more even, right? Like you don't feel like you have to rely on one guy.
Yeah, and last year, if you think about it, not only did they lose Awuzie early in the season, Anthony Brown got hurt too. So they lost him. And then the one free agent they signed,
Daryl Worley,
bottomed out.
Right. And see, that's the other thing is Trayvon. Okay, now we look at it and we look at Kelvin Joseph. Well, Trayvon, he was drafted like 5 spots back from where Kelvin Joseph was this year, and he stepped in and he was a starter. Right? Well, he earned that last year. They had put in place veterans. Daryl Worley had started for 4 or 5 years in this league. Now, obviously, his play had fallen off, okay, and that's why he was available at a low price, as it turns out. They had signed him. They had Anthony Brown as well, but Trayvon Diggs came in here, and without an off season, came in, and they knew going into last year. That's why they had to sign a Darryl Worley, just to make sure, because we don't know what this rookie coming in here, what he's going to be able to handle right off the bat, and especially without an off season. And Diggs came in here and proved, not only in the WebEx, Zoom, virtual stuff during the off season, but when he got on the field that he could handle it. And that's what Kelvin Joseph has to do now. He has to prove. Otherwise, they've got options. They can play Anthony Brown and wait on his development.
And they also had brought in Maurice
Kennedy, who opted out. That's right.
He opted out, and so all of a sudden it was like, oh, what do we got going here?
We didn't have much of a pass rush going either.
Well, yeah,
so
that was
about what Diggs had to deal with.
Worse. Yeah,
as a rookie, having to deal with no pass rush, and we're sitting up here criticizing him, wondering, well, he should be better and this and that. Well, it's tough when you don't have anybody coming after the quarterback and putting any pressure down on a consistent basis.
And the other
you can
corner,
get kind of paranoid back there.
The other corner they're giving a good look at. He played a little bit last year, I believe. Deontay Burton. They were using him in the slot with like the second unit. So it'll be interesting. And I'm going back to it, the competition, right? Mm-hmm. And probably no more so than at the linebacker position, because I don't think anything's set in stone at that linebacker position.
I think the level of the secondary, and that's linebackers, DBs, I think the level of the secondary is going to be at an extremely high level. I think training camp is going to be extremely competitive.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be very intense.
Okay.
And I think offensively they should be extremely careful going up against these DBs and linebackers.
That's how it should be.
That's right. Okay,
coming off the year they had, everyone should be competing for their role.
That's
a great tease for our last segment here. Right. Okay, let's look at training camp battles that we're looking forward to when we come back for our final segment here on Mick Shots in just a moment.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar, and a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere, and a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Back to Mick Shots.
In Cowboys Nation, the new era training collection is like kicking off the summer with a quick strike touchdown. Win big in warm weather with a star-studded lineup of caps, bucket hats, and straw hats from your local Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop or online at shop.dallascowboys.com.
Okay, you see what we're doing here. You notice Dani doesn't have a headset on. That's because her headset wasn't working. And so we're going with a silent count here.
That's tough, too.
I don't know if you've
She's
noticed,
looking at the paper. She's looking at you. Looking at the paper.
I'm Zach Martin. And I'm giving her this, okay? And
don't take your eye off his butt, Dani.
Should I tell my dead set story?
Yeah,
Switzer?
dead set story. That's funny.
Well, Switzer wrote about it in his book, Bootlegger's Boy, so I feel like I could go ahead and say it. All right. Talking about headsets that don't work. Okay, there was an assistant coach on Switzer's staff at OU, Wendell Mosley, great guy. Okay, and Switzer tells the story. He had I don't think it was a wife. I think it was a girlfriend who he had told. He told her that he was the play caller for OU. I mean, what plays do you call? You're running the wishbone.
Very good point. Good point.
So anyway, he would wear a headset on the sideline during the games, and it wouldn't be plugged in. And so he had a nickname. They called him Dead Set. Wendell Dead Set Mosley.
That is some commitment to go, fight through
That's
a story.
That's a commitment to that girl, huh?
I hope she didn't commit to his lying ass. I don't know what happened.
All right, this is our final segment here.
Yes.
Of Mick Shots as we're going to preview training camp here. We got 2 more days of the minicamp here, so more to look at the next couple of days. But let's preview training camp battles. Everson started talking about it in the last segment. Mickey talked about it on the blitz as far as the defense goes. You think how many people have deadlock cinches to start at a certain position on defense?
In my opinion, it's DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, and Trayvon Diggs. Now, there's guys that are working with the first team, but
I don't as far as knowing that they're going to start at that position, you got Lawrence at one end, you got Gregory at the other end, and you got Diggs at one of the cornerback spots.
And I think everything else, everybody better not miss a practice, and there better not be any brother-in-lawing going on
defense.
Oh, there's going to be some fights.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of fights in training camp.
You wouldn't add Donovan Wilson to that list?
When they ran guys out, and I know at this time of year, generally they acquiesce to the more veteran players to go out first, right?
Clinton Dix.
Yeah, right. And then he flamed out. But right now, when the safeties go out with the first team, even when Donovan was healthy enough to participate in the OTAs, it's been DeMonte KZ and Jaron Kearse as the first safeties. Wilson was going out with the second ones. So I don't know that that's set in stone that those are going to be your starters.
I think
at
Wilson
safety.
played great.
And I thought he did too.
Yes.
And so I think there'll be some competition there between the 3 of those guys. And then, and who knows, if they get a backlog at linebacker, maybe Keanu Neal goes back to safety. But I think there'll be a lot of role playing. Like, this is our base defense. This is nickel. This is dime. This is nickel on first down when they're going 3 wide. So I think there's going to be a lot of different combinations of guy. But that would be great because last year they didn't have enough guys to compensate for different positions. So, yeah, I think there's going to be a battle at safety. And, Dani, we know – I don't think the linebacker position is set in stone either.
That's what I'm most excited to see. I think that right now, if you're breaking them down in terms of position groups, from what we've seen and what you expect to see from these rookies, that might be the biggest depth you have, right? Like, you've got Leighton Vander Esch, you've got Jalen Smith, but like, how far behind is Micah Parsons or Jabril Cox or Keanu Neal? Like, I think it's very compact, and that's what makes me so excited. Is like, it's not so much like it's up in the air. There's a lot of really good players, and you really don't know who's going to have that starting role yet.
When you give up historic numbers, rush-wise, it should be. And going back to the defensive tackle position as well.
Yeah.
Those positions, linebacker, defensive tackle, that's going to be huge. Everyone's going to have the magnifying glasses on those positions. So we're talking about the matchups, if you don't mind me doing your job and segueing into the matchups. I'm looking forward to a couple of speeds that's going at it, and that's Joseph and Michael Gallup. That should be a good one. Yeah. That should be a good one. I'm looking at speed on speed.
When you're looking at training camp battles that aren't position battles, but they are head-to-head battles in training camp.
I'm looking forward to that because you're talking speed on speed. Another one I'm looking forward to, and I don't know how much work. They're going to have Tyron going at it, as far as his injury is concerned. I'd love to see him and D. Lawrence going at it in training camp. That should be a nice little battle as well.
And McCarthy made something came up about motivation, or somebody was more motivated, and he said, hey, it's like all of us. We were 6-10 last year. The motivation better be there, right? And he goes, it's about everybody. Make no bones about it. So his point, and he said that before, because if you think about the press conference he had back in March, he talked about the number one priority to fix was the defense, right? So, yeah, I think the linebacker spot, just look at last Thursday. They're in I think it was a 7-on-7 drill, or it might have been 11-on-7. Leighton Vander Esch, who to me, and you guys can argue with me if you want, I think he's the best linebacker on the team. We still don't know what Micah Parsons is. But I think from a history standpoint, Leighton Vander Esch is the best linebacker on the team. He missed a lot of time the last 2 years. So there's a pass play on the sideline, and he lays out in a darn OTA non-contact and makes a diving interception. Unfortunately, as I told Bill when we did the blitz, he landed on the football, and he knocked the wind out of himself.
I know he did.
Right?
Yes.
And he's laying there. I'm going, oh, come on. This can't be a shoulder again, right? No. But he had knocked the wind. But here
Mickey,
he was.
You go ahead.
Yeah, right.
Then I'm going to ask you.
We'll do that. He's diving for an interception in OTAs because he knows nothing is secure.
That's right.
I want to start. I want to play. And he laid out for an interception in a darn OTA.
We don't have the luxury of saying, I could have made that. Because nobody made Jack last year.
And the same thing with Jalen Smith. I think he's under the microscope.
Oh, definitely under the microscope, yes.
Mm-hmm. He might have led the team last year in tackles, but there were things in his game that he needed to improve. And the thing I've noticed about him is he's been more engaged with his teammates than I've seen. He's almost acting like a leader, going around, fist bumping, slapping guys on the shoulder, on the helmet, talking a little bit more. So I think that's
I'm hoping
good.
That means that he has a grasp on the defense, because that was his issue last year. He actually came out and admitted
and had
sometimes
problems,
he don't know what the heck he's doing.
And even Keanu O'Neal, I mean, you can see he's played some football. His instincts, they're pretty evident.
He's played football at a Pro Bowl level before.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And then Jabril Cox, I don't know how that guy lasted into the fourth round.
I've always had a good eye on him. Yeah. He played well all year long.
Okay, so knocking the wind out.
So, Mickey, have you ever had the wind knocked out of you?
I think the last time it happened was about 40 years ago when I was playing in a darn softball game. And I got in a rundown between home plate and third base.
Okay, just get a mental picture.
I know, right? Yeah, stop right there.
Get a mental picture.
Because I was faster than anybody, right?
So were you wearing like a pinstripe uniform?
Yeah, let's say quicker.
Flannel? Were they baggy flannel baseball?
Yeah, those really hot cotton pants.
Yeah, that's what we wore in
the long leggings. Yeah.
We used to wear those in Little League. My mom would go, "Why do they want you to wear those these flannel things? Are so? Why do they make you wear these?" Anyway, I got in a rundown, and the big old catcher, right, big old fat butt,
Larry Mondello guy.
Yeah, and it's like I'm toast, right? And he goes to tag me, and I kind of jumped in the air, and he kneed me like in the kidney right here, and I was like, "What the?" He goes, "Oh man, I'm sorry," and I screamed at him as I'm laying.
Catchers are.
No, you're not. You did that on purpose.
You know how catchers are, man. They're the dirtiest guys on the field. You know how that goes.
So I asked Bill, when's the last time he had the wind knocked out?
I don't remember it. No, I think in the front yard playing football, probably. Yep.
I can't even remember it. I'm not that goofy.
That's awful. It's an awful feeling.
So how many people in the last 40 years since then have wanted to put their knee into Mickey's kidney?
I'll tell you what, it's a long line.
That is a good proposition there, man. I like that, yeah. See how that goes.
So anyway, the linebackers.
I love that. I
want to hear about you guys' matchups.
Gonna...
I want to hear about you guys' matchups to see.
But on linebackers, real quick, that's what you would expect from Jalen Smith is to be a leader if Sean Lee's gone.
Right.
And you're the most tenured guy. You know, you're in your second contract. That's what you expect. That's what you should be seeing from Jalen Smith. And on Leighton Vander Esch's point, when he was asked by the media after that practice, the dive for the interception, he's like, I'm not going to, go half speed because I'm scared of injuries or hurting myself. He's like, that's not going to make me better. It's not going to make this team better. And he even said more so than that interception, he had a sack or a tackle for a loss. Well, what would have been.
Yeah.
And that's what he was more proud of than the interception too. I mean, if you didn't already know about Leighton Vander, right? Like team number one leadership, that says it all.
And that's the reason why you had a practice like you had today. Okay, where they didn't seem to be doing that much.
Right.
These guys are competitive, and you get them out on the field, and they're going to go all out. They don't.
As I've always said, boys will be boys.
Look at the San Francisco 49ers last week. They lost a safety with an Achilles. They lost an offensive tackle with an ACL. Okay, they're on a football field, and so they're going to go ahead and play football.
These are two teams that have a lot to prove.
Mm-hmm. And the 49ers had so many injuries last year. I mean, they had more injuries than the Cowboys did last year, and they've already got a couple there. And so that's why you got it this time of the year. You got to scale it down and make sure.
And they've scaled it down dramatically over these last 2 or 3 years, because before – there was contact, and I never understood. You're going to give somebody a helmet, but you're not going to give them shoulder pads, right? And guys are going to dive for receptions. They're going to dive for interceptions, and you're going to hurt your shoulder. And I never understood.
The best thing about I didn't mind the shoulder pads. We were one of those teams that just never got a break when it came to uniform. But I love going with the shorts. As opposed to football pants.
Yeah.
That to me makes the biggest difference
Yeah.
as opposed to just going without.
But you're always holding your breath with the other stuff, because once you start competing, and even though there's no contact, man, if you're a competitor, you're going to do what you got to do to catch the ball, right?
If you're trying to earn a spot on the team.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the collision today, right? Was it McKee? It was
Sean
McKeon.
Yeah. It wasn't like bad by any means. It was 3 people, 2 defenders,
but
and
they all
him
kind of
all
collided
going up,
because they're trying to knock the ball out. Right. He's trying to catch it, and it's
And he got up. He wasn't down long.
And it reminded me of Sean Lee when he finally tore his ACL that had some problems in it. He's in like the first OTA practice of the spring, and they run a little pitch to DeMarco Murray to the right.
Remember that.
Right? And Murray's going to cut back, and Sean Lee's going to plant to come back and make the tackle. And he blows out his knee.
Yes.
And it was like he had the surgery, and it might have been 2 weeks later or something like that. And I ran into the locker room, and I looked at him, and I shook my head, and he goes, I know. And I said, what are you thinking about? It's OTAs. Just let him go. You're not going to tackle him. And Sean Lee goes, yeah, I was just trying to do the right thing. And it's like, oh, that's Sean Lee, right? But those things happen. So, yeah, I think it's smart to get on the field, get everybody together, but back off on how competitive you make it, especially with the offensive linemen and defensive linemen. They're not proving anything without pads on, right? You're just kind of touching up and go. But then, you get a little heated. And
I got another one for you. Okay, you talk about Kelvin Joseph versus Michael Gallup. I want to see C.D. Lamb against anybody. I want to see C.D. Lamb on that field in a second year with a full off season. And he talked about it last week where he didn't. He was training at home, and he's been in an NFL off-season training program, and he was as good as he was last year. That making that jump from first year to second year, they always talk about it. I think he's going to have a huge year. And
he looked like a veteran last year.
He did. Yep. Yeah. He's always looked like he looked like a veteran when he was in college.
Think about it. That was his first OTA practice, right? Because they didn't have it last year. Randy Gregory, this is probably his first minicamp OTA because he was probably after his rookie year. There were suspensions and things,
and he came in. Did he come in late last year?
He was here, but he couldn't play in the first 6 games.
Right.
That was part of his suspension. So yeah, you're exactly right. These guys are getting things this year. CeeDee Lamb, he had a catch last week on Thursday, unbelievable, just unbelievable. It's like, how does he do that?
That's what he does.
Yeah, and he had another one today that was a pretty darn good one that he had to kind of contort his body.
I think he puts himself into position to where he makes these great plays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Right? Yeah. It's too easy right now. Let me slow down. I don't know.
And you read about his bracelet, right? He was wearing. Get your popcorn ready.
I heard that. I did hear that. Yes, get your popcorn ready. I did hear that.
So I think, you look at what he did last year, and he only got 4.5 games with Dak, right? And then it was like potluck at quarterback the rest of the season. And he still broke the rookie receiving record.
And I still go back to Amari Cooper.
Right?
The year that he had.
Somehow he came up with 90 catches,
90 catches. And the shakedown, the ankle breaking that he did at the line of scrimmage, still to me, one of the best moves off the line of scrimmage I've seen in a long time. You just don't see DBs going down like that as if you're going against Allen Iverson in a crossover move. That's the kind of stuff I like, and that's why Amari Cooper is my dude.
And I'll tell you who else looked good out there. And it's hard because running backs, how do you know, right, in this stuff? Zeke looks pretty fast and quick. He looks like he's in really great shape, too.
I was going to say another matchup.
I was going to, go ahead.
The two tight ends. And they're not necessarily Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz maybe going against each other, right, if they're going to do more 12 personnel packages and whatnot. But coming off the year that Schultz had filling in for Jarwin, who missed all season, he tore his ACL in the first week.
He's
he proved. I mean, he had a rough first 2 games, right, with like missed blocks, drop passes, but he really shined last year and proved that he can, have a larger role on this team. And so that'll, I think, will be interesting of the two of them. And they don't see it as competing against each other. I mean, Dalton Schultz was like so ecstatic to tell media, like, I want Blake Jarwin to be back. I'm excited for him to be back. But I think that'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
Hell of a combo.
This offense could be pretty prolific if they stay healthy.
Matchup.
I'm going to say it.
Versus
yeah, but we learned that's not so easy.
Another matchup here. Parsons versus Zeke.
Oh, yeah.
That's
a good one. That's a good one.
There.
Okay, and then 3 months from tomorrow, what happens 3 months from tomorrow?
It's September 9th.
That would be September 9th. It would be Thursday night football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First play of the game, Buccaneers come out on offense, and they line up Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown as their receivers. So they're going with their 3 receivers set.
Good little combo.
Who's lining up at linebacker for the Cowboys? And who's in their secondary? Okay, let's just say their secondary. Mm-hmm. Who's in the Cowboys secondary? First game against Tampa Bay.
I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't know that I've got a guess. Because I don't think
you have to guess. You have to guess.
I don't think
They're lining up right now. You got to get them out on the field right now. They're lining up. Okay, who's going out there?
You got Diggs, right?
Diggs, okay, he's at one corner.
Yeah, you got Joseph.
Okay, you're going with Joseph, the rookie, at the other corner.
Yeah, and they'll probably use...
Who's in the slot?
They'll probably use one of the Achilles
Jordan Lewis.
Jordan Lewis is in the slot.
Jordan Lewis, really?
Yeah, Jordan Lewis will be in the slot.
Think so?
Yeah. So there's your 3 corners.
So we're talking just nickel then.
We're talking nickel because they're coming out with Antonio Brown. I mean, they've got the 3 receivers set. Okay? All right, so there's your 3 corners. Who are your safeties and who are your linebackers?
I have no idea on the safeties, and I think the linebackers will be Van Der Esch and Micah Parsons.
Okay, and then you got to go with something. Let's line up Keanu Neal at one safety.
Okay,
and let's put Kazee at the other one.
All right,
okay. And then up front, then a 4-man front, and you've got Lawrence and Gregory at the ends, and who's your tackles?
Bohannon.
Not in a nickel.
No, not in the nickel.
Oh, not in nickel?
Watkins?
Maybe Gallimore.
Or you go Brent Urban, you go Watkins, you got Hill, you got Gallimore.
I think one of those defensive ends will move inside. How about
like they did with Alden Smith?
How about
I'm hearing
Terrell Basham?
Terrell Basham, okay. Yes. I haven't heard Jalen Smith's name mentioned.
No, I don't think he's on the nickel.
Okay.
I don't think he should have been on the nickel last year.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Unless they want
him to start.
Right.
They want him to start. You line him up at linebacker, and you have Lawrence, Gregory, Parsons, and whatever tackle you want out there on your front.
Yeah. Because DeMarcus Lawrence could rush inside, right? They got some defensive ends that
did that
rush
with Alden
inside.
Smith last year.
Yeah,
They brought him inside.
yeah. So
And on that first play, what's going to happen? Parsons is coming off the edge. He's getting a sack of Brady. There you go. That's my prediction.
All I
3 months
gotta
out.
say is it's Yo Randy, right? You remember the old not a sitcom. It was
Actually, Parsons is going to come up the middle. He's going to line up a middle linebacker. He's going to blitz up the middle. And he's going to sack Brady.
You remember Rin Tin Tin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You used to Rennie. Yeah, this is 30 years before your time.
Loudly.
All right, so save that. That's our prediction.
Yo Randy.
All right, that does it.
All right.
Okay, enjoy your last couple of days out in the heat.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I'll be out there.
You should get one of these bucket hats from the pro shop. That's what you need.
I do need one. You know what?
You need a hat.
You know
on.
those.
I think you're about as tanned as you're going to get.
Those hard like safari hats.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't need one of those.
It's it was so hot. It was so hot in Wichita Falls. I went and bought one of those just to make a statement on
I
how
bought
hot
my
it was.
10-speed with me to Oklahoma. I was in the best shape in my life. I'm Wichita Falls, I meant to say.
Yeah.
Best shape I've
For
been
the
in.
hotter than hell 100.
It was hot. It was hot.
Every day.
Every day.
105 to 110, and the wind would blow 20 miles an hour, so it felt like you were in a convection oven. And there was no shade anywhere. On those practice fields.
And for those who live outside of Texas, Wichita Falls is known in late August for a bicycle race. It's the hotter than hell 100.
That's right.
And
God bless people that can
yeah,
finish.
that's right. All right. That does it for Mick Shots and Oxnard, California. Here we come. How's that?
Go, baby.
I'm ready, and I'm hoping.
There you go. All right.
All right, guys.
And we should find out
soon.
My voice ready.
Okay.
My voice ready.
And I'm getting ready for the Rams to come a-calling, too.
That's
for
right.
Practice there. So
we go back in history on that one, right?
There you go. All right. See you next time on Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.